We are here today after another murder in Minneapolis just 2 days ago at the hands of ICE thugs. Shame! We are here today after countless kidnappings of our neighbors, including children. Shame! We are here today as schools are empty and students are scared to leave their homes. Shame! We are here today because we need Amy Klobuchar and all of our senators to stop this bill that would allocate $170 billion more to ICE. Shame!
Amy, we are paying the price for your passivity in blood. We will show up and we will keep showing up to make our demands heard. We are demanding Amy Klobuchar vote against funding of ICE. And we don't want promises. Promises won't bring back Alex Pretti or Renee Good. As ICE continues its reign of terror in our community, it has been outrageous to see the lack of action that has come from our leaders. We have lost friends, mothers, fathers, students, nurses, beloved members of our community, and this has not been enough for them to show up, not with their words, but with their actions. When will it be enough, Jacob Frey? When will it be enough, Tim Walz? When will it be enough, Angie Craig? When will it be enough, Tina Smith? When will it be enough, Amy Klobuchar?
Minneapolis was still reeling from Renee Good's death, who was shot and killed by a federal immigration officer over a brief war of words on January 7th. Since then, thousands of people braved the Arctic cold and sub-zero temperatures to protest against the Trump administration's handling of the immigration crackdown. But ratcheting up tensions in America's already shaken Twin Cities, on January 24th, a Border Patrol officer fatally shot and killed a man named Alex Pretti in Minneapolis. Alex Pretti was an ICU nurse at a VA hospital and worked for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. The Department of Homeland Security said the man was shot after he approached Border Patrol officers while carrying a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. Officials did not say whether Pretti pointed or displayed the weapon, but DHS, in a long post on X, defended the officer and asserted that apparently, fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, the federal agent fired defensive shots. However, in footage captured by bystanders and published soon after the incident, Pretti is shown holding a phone in his hand, and none of the clips appear to show him with a visible weapon. However, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem stood by the federal agent who fatally shot Alex Pretti, saying the individual had violently brandished a gun while trying to disrupt the targeted arrest of a criminal migrant, and she placed blame on the state's Democratic leadership for the incident. She defended the shooting by saying the officer feared for his life and the lives of his fellow officers and fired the defensive shots.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. About hundreds of protesters then showed up at the scene. They began to obstruct and to assault law enforcement officers. We saw objects being thrown at them, including ice and other objects, and a rampant assault began, and even an HSI officer agent's finger was bitten off. Crowd control measures were deployed to bring safety to the public and to law enforcement at the scene. And once again, I want to remind everybody that this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen. Our law enforcement are doing everything that they can to protect the public. We're praying for this deceased loved one's family and friends, but we also recognize that the Minnesota governor and the Minneapolis mayor need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. They need to evaluate their rhetoric, their conversations, and their encouragement of such violence against our citizens and our law enforcement officers. I'll remind you that Governor Walz today in his press conference said that our officers were not even law enforcement, which is a lie. He's called them the Gestapo. He's encouraged residents and citizens and violent rioters to resist. He's doxed their identities, putting themselves and their families' lives in jeopardy. He's refused to turn over murderers to federal law enforcement officers. He's protected illegal criminals and protected them from being brought to justice, and even overseen a historic, unprecedented theft of American taxpayer dollars. Tens of billions of dollars were stolen under his watch, and he allowed it to happen, and in some instances may have even facilitated it.
Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino held a separate press conference to justify the shooting and killing of the Minneapolis man, and repeated that an officer discharged defensive shots after the man carrying a handgun moved toward agents and violently resisted efforts to take the weapon away.
And at no point do we see Alex Pretti brandishing a weapon. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said that he was brandishing a weapon, and in the video we see him on the ground with his hands on his head. We see an officer leaving what it appears to be with the weapon after he extracted it from Pretti's waist area. Did the officers see the weapon? Did they see him brandishing the weapon at him?
Sure. Many videos out there, many different accounts that you may see, that I may see, that anybody here may see. That, folks, is why we have something called an investigation, to take what you're talking about, to take those videos, to take witness statements, to take officer statements, all those minute details that will paint a true picture, not a freeze frame concept, and paint a larger picture of what really happened. That is why we investigate, so we can get to the truth, so there's not speculation. Speculation after 24 hours, you've got a lot of speculation in there. That officer, let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You've had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
Commander Rubino, between your agency, Commander Rubino.
It's not speculation.
And then right here.
Commander, was Alex Pretti armed when he was shot?
Again, the investigation is going to uncover all those facts, things like how many shots were fired, where were the weapons located. All those facts are going to come out in the investigation. I wasn't there wrestling that assaultive subject that was assaulting Border Patrol agents. I wasn't there wrestling him myself, so I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to wait for that investigation to come. No, don't interrupt me. I'm going to wait till that investigation comes out until I make a decision there.